Good afternoon, this is Todd Colvin coming to you from the floor of the CME Group. We are looking at currencies and the euro currency right now. Taking a little bit of a break from its extension higher. We've seen a nice little bull run here in the euro currency. It's stalled a little bit today, not to say that it's ended the run. It still remains in a bullish formation, but we did attain the 100-day moving average at 116.60. And I think that ultimately we're going to be targeting 120. That will be kind of a hope trade after all the dust settles and, after Brexit and after ECB and all that stuff into next year. And I think that to the downside, it's very short. You're going to look at the 116 level, which is right on top of the 50-day moving average. So you got those two moving averages very close together. I think if you see a dip below 116, you may see some sellers come in. It's been quite a nice run here for the euro as the dollar continues to get beat up, the dollar and China trade and tariffs and whatnot. And I think that is one of the reasons why the euro has outperformed over the short term. So right now we're hovering right at the 100-day moving average. I still think we're in a bullish formation. I don't know if we'll get to 120, but that's going to be the top that we try and test. And if you look at what the ECB is doing to help promote the euro, right now it is still talking about ending bond purchases, still talking about raising rates at the end of 2019. I think that there's a little bit of hope in there, not enough substance. Ultimately, they need to continue to see growth. They need to continue to see, inflation. They need to continue to see demand, from some of these bond countries that have underperformed and seen their bond purchases come solely out of or mostly out of the ECB. And when the ECB is no longer there to buy them, who will be there and how will that affect their market? So right now, I think a lot of what we're seeing in the euro going into 2019, while it is very firmly priced, I think a lot of it still remains yet to be seen. Likewise, how any trade deals with the U.S. or how many global trade deals affect the euro area, the European Union itself, is still also a very big question. Lastly, let's look at Brexit, right? The biggest European, event to come, I think, into next year. It remains, the pound continues to outperform based on recent news that there's going to be a deal and it's going to be somewhat beneficial to the UK. Not necessarily that it's bad for the euro, but I think ultimately it's been such a lopsided trade. If you look at where the euro, the pound versus euro was trading on Brexit when it was announced in 2016, it was about 130. Now it's down around 112, and it really hasn't moved much off those lows. I mean, we said the pound's outperforming. It's really because it came off the lows, and it's kind of like going an inch when you have a marathon race to run. And ultimately, both currencies I think can benefit if there's some kind of amicable settlement, and both can obviously see greener pastures in the light of a separation between the UK and the Eurozone. So I think right now, I think you stick with the euro. The pound obviously is outperforming the short run, but ultimately it's going to be about how the UK can get their legislation through, get the Brexit package through, and make it appeasable to everybody on the other side of the channel. And whether that happens or not, you've got so many different loopholes and uncertainties there that there's still a lot of questions that need to be answered. And ultimately, in the long run, if they don't get answered, that's going to help the euro outperform. This is Todd Colvin coming to you from the floor of the CME Group.